You know, for all the talk that returning Pokemon like Garchomp and Latios and Kyurem Black got, I feel like Heatran hasn't gotten much appreciation this month. This is despite the fact that it's got a good argument for being the most consistently good Pokemon in Pokemon history. Gen 8 is literally the 5th generation where Heatran has been a top 15, if not top 5 Pokemon in overused. So today we're going to highlight that Pokemon and talk about what makes Heatran so good. It beats Fire and Fairy types. That's it. Yeah, thanks for watching everyone. See you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe. Okay, so jokes aside, let's actually talk about why Heatran is such a perennial force in overused. However, before we get into the long list of things that make Heatran amazing, I want to break tradition for a bit and start off by talking about its weaknesses first. Because the first thing you should notice when you look at Heatran is the number of bad weaknesses its typing gives it. Weaknesses to fighting and water are already bad enough. I mean, nobody enjoys eating a Scald or Drain Punch when you're neutral to the moves, let alone when you're weak to them. But a 4 times weakness to ground can be devastating, and it's easily Heatran's biggest weakness. That means that it gets one hit KO'd by even a completely attack uninvested Excadrill, even if the Heatran has maxed out its already very high defenses. Heatran players will sometimes try to cover this weakness by equipping it with an air balloon in the hopes of being able to get in at least one move before being threatened by an earthquake. But that is a pretty niche option for obvious reasons. The trade-off for these 3 rough weaknesses is that Heatran pretty much resists every other move in Pokemon. And if you think I'm joking, think again, because with the exception of Electric, Ghost, and Dark, Heatran literally resists or is straight up immune to every other typing in Pokemon. We're talking 4 times resist to Steel types, Fairy types, and U-turns, and it's even unaffected by Toxic. Its ability Flash Fire not only makes it immune to Fire type moves, but also gives it a boost to its own Fire type attacks afterwards. You know, I've always found Fire to be a surprisingly good defensive typing in Pokemon. It's just that historically, most Pokemon haven't been able to take advantage of it due to its Stealth Rock weakness, kind of crippling the defensive factors of the typing. But recently it's really gotten to shine. I mean, just look at how much usage Moltres has gotten this generation with the addition of heavy duty boots to mitigate its Stealth Rock weakness. One of Heatran's strengths is that it doesn't need boots, especially not historically in previous generations, thanks to its steel typing reducing that Stealth Rock damage. However, none of what I just mentioned removes its brutal weakness to ground. Sure, while it's nice to be able to resist Mega Charizard's Dragon Claws and Flare Blitzes with its great typing, it doesn't matter if a single Earthquake knocks you out all the same, right? And to make things worse, despite for the most part being used as a sort of defensive Pokemon, Heatran lacks any recovery move. So recovery is almost impossible without like 10 turns of leftovers. So now I have to pose the question, does any of this that I've just discussed affect Heatran's viability? Well, if I'm being honest, not really. Pokemon is a team game where your Pokemon can shore up each other's weaknesses. Bear with me for a second because I'm going to use an example to explain this from Dragon Ball FighterZ, a really good fighting game that came out a couple years ago. In the game, one of the top tiers is Team Gohan, but I don't think anyone will question that the character has some huge weaknesses. His stubby attacks and lack of a good Kamehameha beam attack means that he has a really hard time getting in on his opponent. And while his mix-ups are amazing once you actually get your opponent blocking, there's actual gaps in his pressure that most smart players can get through. And finally, Team Gohan's combo game is incredible and amazing. It's got huge damage, it's got meter gain that's almost nobody can really match. But when he's alone, he can't take full advantage of this and he needs assist support in order to take advantage of these combos. But that's really the key word there, which is alone. Because much like Pokemon, Dragon Ball FighterZ is a team game with 3 characters per team. So with a bit of support and some timely assists, Gohan can become a character with strong neutral, insane block pressure, and incredible combo game. Sure, he's terrible if you were to play him alone, but the whole point of the game is you're supporting your lead characters with assists. And when he has that support, he is universally considered by top players to be a top 5 character. Now, if I didn't lose you by going too far into the sticks in that example, that should sound pretty familiar with our boy Heatran here. Because yeah, you know what? It's got some pretty big flaws, and those type weaknesses can be a little bit devastating. But those flaws aren't going to matter if I have a tanky grass type to absorb all the water and ground type attacks every time someone comes in and threatens my Heatran. Now, this point might seem obvious to you all, and admittedly, I don't see a lot of people out there questioning how good Heatran is. It's a very good Pokemon. But the logic of something is bad because it has weaknesses is something I see all the time when beginners discuss Pokemon. Just in my comments the other day, I had someone get really snarky with me for suggesting using Buzzwole against Zygarde because it was a Pokemon that was 4 times weak to flying moves and it got walled by Toxapex. Like, sure, you're not wrong, but Pokemon is fundamentally, again, it's a team game and it's a game of switching. And I'm not going to keep my Buzzwole in against a Tornadus for the same reason I'm not going to keep a Heatran in versus an Excadrill. You just have to know how to leverage your Pokemon's strengths and put them in the best position to succeed. We're not playing Dugtrio cage matches where 2 players enter and only one can leave with their life. This is where team building around your Pokemon's weak matchups becomes so crucial. So yeah, I realize I kind of belabored my point there, but I just wanted to get across that topic and that subject, and Heatran is really the best demonstration of the idea of playing around a Pokemon's weaknesses. But moving along, we've established that despite some weaknesses, Heatran's typing is amazing, and it can come in on a lot of moves nearly for free with that typing. So what can it do when it actually swaps in? Well, for starters, it's got super high special attack and enough speed to let it get the jump on all of the base 60s. People kind of sleep on offensive Heatran because the tanky version is so popular and so good, but this Pokemon can hit really, really hard. In fact, if you can get this thing in on a fire move and activate its Flash Fire ability, which is really not an outlandish scenario at all, a Specs Heatran can then 2-hit KO a Blissey from full. In addition, its unique move Magma Storm is not only very strong with 120 base power, but also traps the opponent for several turns, giving it continuous chip damage. So even if I can't knock out a Garchomp swapping on me in one turn, if I protect a bit to let it accumulate some damage, I can eventually get the kill. Actually, on the topic of Protect, I want to highlight how good the move is on Heatran, because while the move is nearly ubiquitous in BGC and doubles, Protect doesn't see very much usage in singles at all. And I think Heatran is one of the best users of it, easily, at least as far as singles is concerned again. So the obvious application of Protect on Heatran is accumulating chip damage through Magma Storm or Toxic or both. But you can also use this for some really crucial health recovery, because like I said, it doesn't have a recovery move. So recovering health with leftovers becomes a really important part of the Pokemon's playstyle. Just look at this example from a game I played the other day. I swapped my Heatran in on a Dragapult's Draco Meteor, taking advantage of its great special defenses and its Dragon typing resist. However, I realized that my Heatran is still a really crucial Pokemon for me to keep healthy when I look at the rest of my opponent's team. So I protect on the Dragapult's U-turn to get an extra 6% back, and then I eat the next U-turn easily and get off Stealth Rocks for free. But afterwards, when he brings in Landorus, I suspect that the Pokemon is using a Choice Scarf, which limits the moves it can use after it selects it. So I protect again, figuring if they Earthquake again, I can swap out to my Tangrowth next turn, easy peasy. And if they U-turn, I can start this whole process all over again and accumulate even more leftovers health. After a couple turns of this, my Heatran's health is back up to full as if nothing happened. So sure, the Pokemon lacks recovery, but with smart usage of Protect, you can chip away at your opponent's health and punish their over predictions, all while slowly getting back up to full. There's a bunch of other things I could get into with Heatran and why it's so good, like its stall-breaking taunt set, or its devastating Z move sets from Sun and Moon, or how Lava Plume is pretty much a fire-type scald that every physical attacker should fear, but I think I'm just gonna leave it there for now. Like I said at the top of the video, Heatran is just an all-around strong Pokemon that can come in easily on not just Fairy and Steel types, but also a bunch of other very crucial typings. Afterwards, it can get its rocks and status off to keep your team in a really strong advantage situation. Even if it's weak to a couple of common attacking moves, any smart player will be able to leverage this Pokemon's ridiculous strengths and claim some big wins. And this is a Pokemon that was good the last several generations. It was very good the last 4 weeks where it hit very high usage stats. And the fact is, it's only going to get better with Zygarde and Kyurem Black gone too. So I hope to see people having fun with the Pokemon on the ladder, but that's going to do it for me today. I hope you all learned something. If you enjoyed the video, taking 2 seconds to like the video, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel are always an enormous help, so I do appreciate that. But thanks again. I'll see you guys next time.